And we're back. Thank you for those who have been holding me accountable, asking me where the video's at, especially my wife asking me, why did you stop? What happened was, as you know, I've been going over the parable of the sower. And in the parable of the sower, there are four different types of soil. The wayward soil, the rocky soil, and the soil with thorns. And then the fourth soil, the final soil, is the good soil. And as I was preparing the video, preparing the message, I was going to title it simple: Are you good soil? And when I did that, literally, the moment I did that, I asked myself, am I good soil? Then I realized that there are so many different areas in my life where where I'm not good soil. Now, remember, soil is the condition of your heart to receive the wisdom, the principles that God's trying to place into your life, the Word of God that's trying to place into your life. And you can be either the what's the first one? Sorry. the wayward soil, where God's placing is just telling you these principles, this word, and you're like, that doesn't apply to me. That doesn't apply to me. I don't even hear that. Da da da. You're the wayward soil. Or you're the rocky soil, where God's trying to plant this word in your life. You hear it, you're excited, like that's a good word. That was for me. But then when the tests and trials come, you fall, you fail. Why? Because you haven't been putting it into practice, that principle that God's been teaching you. And the third one was the soil with the thorns in it. Now, with this soil, the plant grows. You're becoming better. You're becoming more mature. Remember, the whole goal of this was to become more mature, more complete, a better you. So with this, the plant grows, but the cares of this world, the riches of this world, the worries and concerns choke out that word to where it doesn't produce a fruit. It doesn't produce a crop. And then we have finally, the fourth soil, which is the good soil. Now, there are three different areas of the good soil. The first is a noble and good heart. A noble and good heart is one that's open to receiving the wisdom, the principles that God's trying to place in your heart. Now, growing up, my dad would always say, boy, you're so hard-headed, you're so hard-headed. And because of this, I received many a whippings, many a beatings, because I just wouldn't learn and listen and learn, listen and learn, whatever it is that my dad was trying to tell me to stop doing so that I wouldn't get that whipping. But being opening your heart to receiving that wisdom, receiving the wisdom from mentors that God's placed in your heart, receiving the wisdom from the preacher on Sunday, or from the preacher on Wednesday, or from whatever meaning that God's trying to pour that seed into your life, being open to receiving it. Now, the second area is hearing and retaining. So not only do you hear the word, but you retain it, you keep it, so that when the time of the test comes, you have it to put it into practice. Oh, God told me this. He told me to fear not, fear not. So when the situation comes up, oh, I remember that word. You have it. You kept it, so that you can apply and put that into practice whenever the situation comes. Now, the last one, which is a big one, is by persevering. By persevering produces a crop. So it's easy to, oh, that's a good word, and you practice it one time and you put it into practice a second time. But how about after 5 years? How about after 10 years? And you're still working on putting that in. At a point you go like, you know what? I'm just going to do it this way, because this way I don't feel like it's working. Persevering. James says, let perseverance run its course so that you may become mature and complete. This is not a sprint. As you know, life is not a sprint. It's a marathon. There's ups and downs. There's good times and bad times, but you have to be consistent. And when you fall, you get back up. When you mess up, you get back in there. Lord, I messed up, but I'm going to keep trying to apply this principle that you've been poured into my life. So with the good soil, I was like, God, I want a good analogy for this that really emphasizes perseverance. Did you know that one of the most what's the wording for this? The command that's given the most in the Bible is fear not. Fear not. I don't know why, but I'm assuming it's because it's so easy for us to do. Anytime a situation comes up, fear. Anytime the unknown comes up, fear. And God has been all throughout the Bible instructing us to fear not, but we continue to do it. So how can you take that principle, the little nugget, that seed, and have it produce a crop? So I have an analogy of, here you have a person who has 30 plus, let's say we have people who, they want to retire a millionaire. So they go to a seminar, free seminar. He's not selling anything. He has the wisdom and he wants to pour it into you, right? 30 plus years of experience in the business. He has a portfolio to back it up. He knows what he's talking about. And he's telling each and every one of you, look, this is what you need to do if you want to retire a millionaire in 30 plus years, right? Like, oh, I have a regular job. I'm trying to tell you what it is to do if you want to retire. It doesn't matter the type of job that you have. If you're consistent with this, you will reach that goal. So here you have candidate A. He hears it. He's like, you know what? No. That doesn't seem like that's going to work. I heard this other guy say this. I think I'm going to go with that. Or, you know what? I was looking on the internet the other night. I think I know what it is that I need to do in order to become a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. So he's the wayward soil. He takes it and doesn't even receive it. He's like, oh, that doesn't apply to me. So he moves on. And next we have the rocky soil. This is a person, when he hears it, he's like, oh, wow, that's good. That's good. Ooh, I'm excited. 30 plus years. Ooh, I mean, man, I'll be able to retire, live good, not worry about this, not have no financial stress. And so that Monday, he calls his HR, look, I want to increase my contributions. And so the person with the experience tells him, look, I want you to max out your contribution to match whatever it is that your company is offering. And I want you to also invest a percentage, this percentage every month into, let's say, a Vanguard index fund. I want you to be consistent. And finally, third, whatever you do, don't touch it. And he says, whatever you do, repeats it, don't touch it. Don't pull that money out for whatever reason. Unless like you have a life or death emergency, do not pull that money out. So the second person, he hears it. He's like, yeah, that's good. I can do that. So he calls the job Monday, increases his contributions, open up this fund so he can contribute every month to this. And he doesn't pull anything out. But then he realized, you know what? Hold on now. The next month comes along. Wait, I don't have as much money in my account as I usually do. I don't have as much spending power as I used to do because, I've increased it here and I'm, investing here. I was like, I don't think I like it. And so the next month comes along. Oh, I don't think I like this. And he sees his account. It's like, yeah, it's growing, but you know what? I don't think I can continue to do this. And so, he's like, all right, let me just lower my contributions. Instead of the company match of 6%, let me just, do 4. And next month, let me just do 3. Let me just do 2. And let me stop contributing to this fund. Yeah, 2 is fine. Next thing you know it, he's not able to increase that portfolio to compound to where when he 30 plus years from now, he would become a millionaire. But it's because he was not putting it into practice. He didn't apply the wisdom that the investor was telling him. So he can't in 30 plus years become a millionaire like the way that the investor with experience was telling him. But here you have the third person. 10, 15 years from now, he's like, wow, that guy really knew what he was talking about. I'm glad I listened to him. His portfolio's looking nice. He's like, yep, you know what? I can retire in 30 plus years if things continue the way it is right now with my portfolio. But then he steps outside, looks at his neighbor, says, wait, hold on. My neighbor has a really nice car. And look, my car's paid off. It's a good, loyal car. There's nothing wrong with it. But you know what? I want the fancy car. I want the nice car. So you know what he does? He pulls money from his retirement fund. Key rule, don't touch it. But he pulls because you know what? I want a nice car. So he does it. And then a year or two later, you know what? I want a bigger house. I'm this level in my company. I'm doing good. I should have that big, nice house. So you know what? He pulls a good chunk out so that he can have a big down payment so he can live that big fancy lifestyle because he wants the big house and now he has a nice car and he has the big house. So what happened was he let the riches and the cares of this world choke out the plant. So he is the soil that had the thorns grow along with it. So now he looks at his portfolio. It's like, wow, because I did that, it really messed up the timeline, the progression of my portfolio. So in 30 plus years, I won't be able to retire with the income, with the amount that it said it was projected to have. Now it's going to be like 40% less because I pulled out, because I didn't listen, because I didn't stay consistent, because I didn't persevere and last the 30 years. But here you have Joe Blow number 4, the good soil. He hears that word. He's like, you know what? I believe this guy. And there are so many other people who said, they've been working with him, and it's true, blah, blah, blah. And I researched this guy. I realized that he does know what he's talking about, and he does have the experience. So you know what? I'm all in. I'm going to follow his instructions to a T. 20 plus years later, he sees the neighbor with the nice car. He sees people, getting nice houses. He's like, oh, well, you know what? That's nice. And I will, I could have that, but, I'm good with what I have. I'm content with what I have. So he stays consistent. He stays, and whenever he gets a promotion, he increases the amount that he contributes. Whenever he gets a bonus, it's not bonus blow money. It's bonus, okay, let me contribute a little bit more to my retirement. And because he did that, because he was consistent, in 30 plus years, he did retire with the million in the bank. He did retire a millionaire because he was consistent and he persevered with the wisdom and the principles that the investor poured into his life. Now, although I'm using it as an analogy, that's like a real life, this actually happened with people. But I wanted to show how there's a principle. There are things that God's trying to place into your life. Mentors who are pouring into you saying, look, this is something that you need to start living by. This is something that you need to apply so you can become mature, more better, more complete. And you need to persevere. You're not staying consistent with that principle, with that word, because of this, because of that. You're making excuses here and there. But stay consistent, persevere, become that good soil so that in the end, you'll hear that, well done, my good and faithful servant. In the end, you'll be a better version of you. Not the same you was 5 years ago or the same you was 10 years ago. When the same issues come up, you're running around fearful. Oh, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Be consistent. Check the areas of your life where you're not being a good soil, you're not good soil, and change that around. Till that dirt. Get those rocks out of there. Get all those thorns out of there. Plant that seed and let it grow.